threat of disaster is never pleasant.
Welcome to the Casual Preppers podcast.
These safety measures are essential.
The only place for prepping, survival, and entertainment.
This will be your source of survival instructions and information. Every member of the family must be coached in the business of survival.
Here are your hosts, Cam and Kobe.
And we're here.
We are here. Welcome to the podcast, boys.
Guess what? This whole podcast has been a hoax, everybody.
You guys fell for it. Punks. Yeah, man. Greatest hoaxes in history.
It's surprising how many came up that we'd already talked about.
I know.
In different areas. What's a hoax? What's a conspiracy?
It's all kind of the same stuff a little bit.
But a lot of these I hadn't heard.
Yeah, these are some new ones. Some of them are funny. Some of them aren't.
So, yeah.
So we'll see how this goes,
this is
right?
Greatest hoaxes in history.
Yes, sir.
But before we talk about hoaxes.
This is not a hoax.
This is not a hoax.
I ain't kidding you.
Yeah. The Prepper's Medical Handbook is written by someone quite wise.
William W. Forgy.
Yep. And he's an MD, and he provides the basis of prevention, identification, and long-term management of the survivable medical conditions that you may face as you survive this world.
Yeah, man.
It's really nice, easy to read, and you can get yours at Amazon.com.
Yeah.
Get right to the point of that. But it is a great addition to your prepper or whatever library. You don't even have to be a prepper for this.
No, you don't.
It's a good book to just kind of teach you some survival and wilderness medicine by someone that knows the nitty-gritty of the body.
Yeah.
So.
Knows all the orifices and how to use them.
Yeah, exactly.
Something like that.
How to look in them and use them.
How you look in that one?
So, yeah, the Prepper's Medical Handbook. Go get you one.
Yeah. Well, Cam, we're talking about the greatest hoaxes in history. Some of these are weird.
Some of them are way weird.
Some of them you're like, oh, yeah.
There's a lot of, like, modern ones.
Yeah.
We didn't really get into a lot of, like, the newest ones. But there's some in here. Yeah, you may remember some of them.
I might. But I did remember some of these specifically. Yeah.
So, let's talk about hunting for Bambi. Do you remember this one?
I don't. I hadn't looked into this, so I don't know.
I've not heard anything about this one.
Let's see.
So, Hunting for Bambi is a series of hoax videos publicized in the summer of 2003 that center on the fictional competition to hunt semi-naked women with paintball guns in the deserts of Las Vegas.
Look, I had just met my wife. I couldn't think about anything else. She was just so gorgeous.
Yeah.
Okay.
True. This part of your life had ended.
Yeah. I was all done. I wasn't hunting no Bambis.
No.
I had bagged my Bambi. I'd put my tag on it. It was over.
Yeah. So Real Men Outdoor Productions.
Oh yeah.
That they insist they didn't do anything illegal. They basically set this up and had advertised it that a male could come and pay $5,000 to $10,000 for the privilege of hunting Bambis that were women wearing nothing but a thong and tennis shoes. Nothing up top.
Yeah.
And no undie. Well, they got a thong on.
Yeah, they got the thong on.
They'd pick them off with paintball guns powerful enough to draw blood.
What?
The Bambis are paid $2,500 if they can avoid getting hit, and $1,000 even if they don't get hit.
Jeez, that's a good day job.
Yeah.
Really, either way.
The men pay $5,000, the women only get $1,000 of that.
That's how it works. Yeah. Welcome to the world.
So, anyways, they had like produced this, and a lot of people believed that it was like a real show, and so but it was not.
Oh, it wasn't.
And I think there were videos produced, but I want
of course.
This part. The company has a Las Vegas business license to sell $20 videos of hunters chasing nude women through the woods. So they said that there was nothing wrong with what they'd done because they had obtained a license for this.
Okay.
And there's plenty of adult entertainment out there with all kinds of weird crap. So they're like, what are we doing wrong? The U.S. Bureau of Land Management was looking into the speculation that hunts had taken place without permits on public property.
You got a permit for that hunt?
90% of Nevada is owned by the federal government.
Of course it is.
Yeah. In our patrol of the lands, if they're out there without a permit, we find them, we will cite them. I love that they're like, I'll be one to go look and see.
I'll keep looking. All right.
Can I go see if they're illegally shooting Bambis?
I'm going to go set up a sting operation out there.
Yeah.
Okay?
Yeah. So, he, the creator of this whole thing, he said and asserted that the women were not being mistreated, noting that they can wear goggles and helmets for protection if they wish. So
I gave them goggles.
Yeah.
They're fine.
But anyways, it kind of took off as people thinking it was like a real TV series that was coming out. And
I'd never heard about
it's something that you could really do. Like you could actually go. But I think it was more to, draw people to
The videos.
Yeah, the videos that I think
Right.
were produced. So
Wow.
weird hoax.
Yeah, I had never heard that one.
I hadn't heard that one.
Nope,
either.
that's a new one for me.
So that one's called Hunting for Bambi.
Hunting for Bambi. Do you remember the Balloon Boy hoax? This one I did remember.
Yes, I do remember this one.
Yeah, this is pretty crazy.
I can't say I knew that it was a hoax.
Oh, yes, it
I almost
was.
thought it was.
October 15th, 2009. A homemade helium-filled gas balloon shaped to resemble a silver flying saucer. Again, back to UFOs. Always, man.
This was attempted recently, it sounds like.
Yeah, it was released into the atmosphere above Fort Collins, Colorado by Richard and Muyami. Henny? I don't know how to say that name. Then they claimed that their 6-year-old son, Falcon, was trapped inside.
Falcon.
Falcon's in the balloon.
Falcon, you meant for the skies, boy.
You're going to fly one way or the other. Get in that balloon, boy. Falcon's high.
And that Falcon's soaring above Colorado.
Falcon.
I can't. You know how many of these came from Colorado?
I know,
I think
man.
at least half.
Yeah.
What's going on in Colorado?
Well, they legalized weed first before anybody else.
You would think, Oregon would be the one to Oregon.
Well, authorities confirmed that the balloon reached 7,000 feet during its 90-minute flight,
Dang.
which is crazy. The event attracted worldwide attention, and Falcon was nicknamed Balloon Boy in the media. It's like he already had a name, Falcon.
He had a cool name.
It's like, oh, Balloon Boy. My real name's Falcon.
I know. That's a dumb name. But
Stupid. Man, I wish I had a cool name like Falcon.
Yeah. Me
They
too, Chad.
Yeah, exactly, Chad. National Guard helicopters and local police pursued the balloon. I don't know what the helicopters were going to do.
Just blow it. Don't keep blowing it further.
Yeah.
We're on pursuit, and he
He's
keeps
on the
going
right course
faster and
now.
faster.
We tried to lasso it. The rope kept getting stuck in the rotors. I don't know what to do.
Yeah,
You know,
he's out of here.
The local police, I don't know what they're going to do either. After flying for more than an hour and approximately 50 miles, the balloon landed about 12 miles northeast of the Denver International Airport, where it immediately was taken over by the Illuminati.
I was
Probably
going to say,
at that
of
point.
course I went to the Denver
Yeah.
National.
When Falcon was not found inside, and it was reported that an object had seen falling from the balloon, a search was
Oh my
begun.
gosh.
They're like, Falcon ain't in here, kids. What are we going to do? I don't know. I think I saw something fall from it earlier. What's
It's
going
crazy all the things that come up of like, I'm pretty sure I saw something fall.
on? Yeah, something fell. No doubt. Something fell out of that thing when the helicopters were near it. I don't know.
Yeah.
Later that day, the boy was found hiding in the attic of his home, where he had apparently been the entire
whole time.
The whole time.
Oh, my gosh.
He's just sitting up in the attic reading comic books.
Maybe this isn't the story I was thinking.
Okay. Suspicions of a hoax soon arose, particularly after an interview with Wolf Blitzer on Larry King Live that same evening. They brought Falcon on there and they were talking, and Wolf Blitzer's like, why were you hiding up there? And Falcon looked up at his dad and he said, you guys said that we did this for the show. Apparently revealing that the Hennies had staged the incident as a publicity stunt. So
Well, it worked.
Yeah. On October 18th, 2009, Larimer County Sheriff Jim Alderden, that's right, announced his conclusion that the incident was a hoax and that the parents would likely face several felony charges. We got our helicopters out. The police were following them. We lost a couple of good lassos. We're pretty pissed. Okay.
Why did it take that long to consider it a hoax?
I'm not
Or was
really
that like
sure.
right directly after? You think when you found the kid in the attic?
It was a week after or something. No, it was like only... Oh, no, it was a month afterwards.
Yeah, it seems like a long
Took
time.
a month. They had to do some
Kid
investigating.
was in the attic.
Yeah.
Balloon. Something's up with this.
Or I'm going to have to write all this down on a chalkboard or something to figure it out. I don't know. Give me a month.
How'd he fall out of that balloon right into the attic? It's beyond me.
Yeah, we're going to have to do some diagrams, figure this out. All right. So then on November 13th, 2009, Richard Henney pleaded guilty to attempting to influence a public servant. That's what he pleaded guilty to. Yeah. He was sentenced to 90 days in jail in order to pay $36,000 in restitution. That's all just helicopter fuel, probably. Yeah, how much fuel costs for one of them
Jeez.
things? Fill that up,
Yeah, that's a lot of
$12,000.
money.
And Muyami Henney was sentenced to 20 days of weekend jail. Apparently that's a thing. You just got to go on the weekend to jail. You come in on Friday night, we'll get you home on Sunday night.
Fridays get me really stressed out. I got to go spend the weekend in jail.
Sounds like just a little,
Does that happen that often?
I don't know.
They still do that?
Apparently, that's the thing.
Okay.
Following the incident, the
I'd
Henny
be like, how about weekday jail?
just Sunday. Just get me in there on Sunday, okay?
Serious.
Yeah.
Hey, I gotta go to jail.
Yeah, sorry. See, have fun at church, kids.
Sitting there and read.
Yeah. Following the incident, the Henny family has maintained their innocence, claiming that they were pressured into a guilty plea under the threat of Miami Henny's deportation. Apparently, she ain't from the United States. But on December 23rd, 2020, the Hennies were pardoned by Governor Jared Polis.
Oh my gosh.
Pardon. You don't got to go to weekend jail no more.
It's fine.
Everything's good.
That was pretty recent, huh?
We all enjoyed the falcon in the sky.
I wonder what they're up to these days.
I don't know.
That's interesting.
Probably cooking up another scheme. I'm sure.
I'm sure.
You know.
Oh man.
Falcons, he's in high school now, you know, doing his thing.
Or is he?
Or is he?
He's
Yeah, I
in
don't
the
know.
attic.
He's still
skipping out on high school.
Still in the attic.
Well, that's cool.
Yeah.
So, this one's a little PG-13 kind of.
For sure, man.
The blue waffle. So I have not heard of this.
Oh my gosh, man.
Nor did I hear about it in like training or anything like that.
Training? You had blue waffle training?
Well, you know, like STDs and,
Oh,
and
okay.
like going over medical conditions.
Sure.
This one didn't come up in the book.
Didn't? Maybe it's in the Prepper's Medical Handbook. We'll have to
It might
see.
be.
We'll have to look
How
through
to
it.
treat blue waffle.
You're
So what is a blue
disgusting.
waffle? It was originally like a bait and switch shock website that would like people would search for it to know what it is and then bring up a really disgusting picture because what it is a blue colored vagina
Okay.
because it's supposed STD that
Oh, okay.
that causes a woman's genital region to
turn blue.
Blue.
Yeah.
It's like a weird Willy Wonka spin-off.
Sex with a Smurf.
Yeah.
Is that how you get
And
it?
like a lot of people believe that they could get this
Yeah.
STD and they would develop a blue waffle.
That's so gross.
Yeah. But it was basically it was kind of developed to cause people to like traffic to go to this website and pull up this picture. But there's a lot of like people on Reddit and stuff. It's pretty funny that like people were asking like, what is a blue waffle? And the person's like, well, don't Google it because I
First off,
did.
yeah.
And it's still burned into my memory.
Yeah.
Apparently there's a picture of the nether lesions. There's
There's lesions.
There's lesions and
and regions.
regions.
Yeah.
That is dyed purple or something, or the photo is,
Nice.
changed to purple or blue, sorry.
Blue.
But yeah, so, and I think it's in, what's that dictionary for all the sexual stuff? Like,
like
Urban Dictionary.
Urban Dictionary, yeah.
it's in there and everything. So, but a lot of people in 2008 believed that it was a real STD, and a lot of websites for women's health still have it on there as like this isn't a real thing and you can't really contract it.
Yeah.
So, the blue waffle,
Wow.
go get you one.
That's a hoax.
Yeah.
Guys. This one is one of my favorite of
yeah.
the whole night. In February of 1964, 4 paintings by a previously unknown avant-garde French artist named Pierre Brassau was exhibited at an art show in Göteborg, Sweden. Also at the show were works by artists from England, Denmark, Australia, Italy, and Sweden. But it was the works of the French artists that attracted all the attention. So they had a bunch of art critics, they had journalists and students, they had glasses of wine in hand, silently contemplating Brassau's creations, right? Their praise was like almost unanimous.
Everyone meow.
Yeah, everyone meow. This was fantastic. Rolf Ardenberg of the Morning... Rolf.
Okay.
Morning Post and later wrote that most of the works at the show were ponderous, but not those of Brassau. Pierre Brassau paints with powerful strokes, but also with clear determination. His brush strokes twist with furious fastidiousness. Pierre is an artist who performs with the delicacy of a ballet dancer. It's like, man, they're like, this is good stuff, right? This is art as it's meant to be. One lone critic panned Brassau's work, declaring, only an ape could have done this. All right? As it turns out, the critic was correct. Pierre Brassau was, in fact, an ape. Okay? Specifically, he was
It's funny what people like.
I know.
Like will work up as being like a perfect art, like it's beautiful.
Yeah.
Like in like really put the words in there to make you
Yeah.
believe that it's like elegant and it's really a piece of trash.
It was a 4-year-old West African chimpanzee named Peter. From
Not even a cool name.
I know, from Sweden's Boris Zoo. Pierre Brassau was an invention of Axelson, a journalist at one of Gothenburg's daily papers. He came up with the idea of exhibiting the work of a monkey in an art show as a way of putting critics to the test. Would they be able to tell the difference between modern art and monkey art? I think this is like the most brilliant
Well, he
thing
nailed
ever.
it.
Yeah, it's like, because it's so true that sometimes
A lot
you
of these hoaxes I noticed were like tests of
Yeah.
public and kind of doing.
It's just really funny because sometimes you do see this with artists or even like film or music. It's like, this is brilliant. And it's just garbage.
Yeah.
You know, people are saying that it's brilliant because these critics that are in high places are saying that it's good. I just thought this was hilarious.
Yeah.
Axelson persuaded Peter's 17-year-old keeper to give the chimpanzee a brush and oil paints. Initially, Peter preferred eating the paint to placing it on a canvas. He especially liked the tart flavor of cobalt blue. It's delicious. But eventually,
I would agree.
Yeah, but eventually he started smearing paint on the canvases provided to him. Because of his taste preferences, cobalt blue featured heavily in his work. That was just like, you know.
It's his favorite.
Yeah, it's his favorite. When painting, Peter always had a bunch of bananas close at hand. Obviously, he's a freaking monkey. He's a chimpanzee. The rate at which he consumed them matched his level of creativity. Okay? During periods of great inspiration, he would eat as many as 9 bananas in 10 minutes. Okay? That's
Dang.
almost a banana a minute. When you do the math there. After Peter had created a number of paintings, Axelson chose what he considered to be the 4 best and arranged to have them exhibited at an art show at the Christina Gallery. After Axelson revealed the hoax, Rolf Annenberg, the critic who had praised the work, insisted that Pierre's work was still the best painting in the expedition.
I wouldn't doubt it. Because
really-
honestly, most of those museums, like I went to one in Portland.
Yeah.
And I was kind of excited. I'm like, oh, this is some good art. There's a big population here. And I was like, these are all really dumb.
Just stupid.
like 2 finger smears and like a leaf. I'm like,
Yeah, exactly.
how is this art?
You're like, this is supposed to be real good and stuff.
Yeah.
Anyways, a private collector bought one of Brassau's works for $90, about $600 in 2008 money. It's about $1,000 today.
Wow.
In 1969, Peter was transferred to the Chester Zoo in England, where
Probably
he lived
2
out
million today, you
the
mean?
remainder of his life. Exactly. I'd love to have chimp paintings.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah. So, anyways, there
That
you go.
cobalt blue go real well in our
man.
house.
Look great in my bathroom. You know,
Right by the fridge.
right by the fridge. The fridge isn't in the bathroom.
Yeah. Well, yeah.
I don't even.
Oh, that's awesome.
We have talked about putting a fridge in the bathroom, though, haven't we?
I don't know.
A little mini
I
fridge
think we did talk
with
about
some
that.
like root beer or something
Yeah.
in there. I can't remember.
I put my
Put your what?
I put my toilet paper in there, and that's
yeah.
cool.
Oh, that's right.
Why-
I think that's what we
I think
talked about.
Did, yeah.
Keeping it cool. Yeah.
Keep it real cool.
Yeah.
So this one is one of the biggest hoaxes
The giant
of
hoax.
our time. Yeah.
Giant hoax.
It is a giant hoax.
Yeah.
Yeah. So this one was apparently anybody in the 1800s. You could have fooled anybody.
Oh, you idiots.
Like people just
Everybody
believed anything.
They were just dumb.
But it was a lot of like change in technology
Yeah.
and photography, and everything was kind of coming about. So it's like, man, you can believe anything.
Sure.
Kind of like our time in AI.
Exactly. Yeah.
So, anyways, 1869, George Hull was the mastermind behind this 19th century discovery of a 10-foot tall giant.
Wow.
So the story goes, George Hull he's actually a cigar salesman,
Yeah, he is.
and he hated anything religious, and he
Okay.
was like atheist, and he just kind of get pissed about like anything about the Bible. But there was a passage that was read. I can't remember if he attended a sermon or something, and it said there were giants in the earth in those days.
Oh, yeah.
So he had thought to himself, he's like, how can I like confuse and kind of prove the Bible is nonsense?
Sure.
So what he did is he spent nearly $3,000 building this sculpture of a 10-foot tall giant.
Okay.
He bought a 5-ton block of gypsum,
Gee.
and he had hired some sculptors to kind of chisel it into the shape of this giant. And there's a picture of it, like the giant. It kind of looks like something you'd see in Rome.
Yes,
He has like
yeah.
a big hand.
I
His
think I've
hands
seen
across
this
his
before.
belly, and it looks like a petrified giant. And so what he did with this is he took it to
It's got a ding-dong and
William to the farmer named William Stubb Newell. What'd you say?
It's got a ding dong on it.
A big old ding dong.
Yeah, it's a giant one.
I'm sure it's a giant.
Yeah.
After cutting Newell in on the deal and swearing him to secrecy, he shipped the giant to his property in an iron-sealed box.
Jeez.
And on the chilly night of November 1868, they buried the behemoth near Newell's barn, wedging it under the roots to create the illusion that it had been there for a long time and roots had grown around it. And then they left it for a year.
Oh my gosh.
So they buried it, left it for a
Dedication.
year, and then Newell, the guy that was in on the whole thing, contacted someone to come dig a well, knowing exactly where the statue was buried.
Sure.
So these guys came in to dig a well, and boom, what's that?
Yeah.
There's a body here.
Oh my gosh.
So they dig it all up, and they find this enormous 10-foot giant that looks like a petrified giant. And so people started talking, and it started to spread around town that there was like this big giant. People from like colleges, from like Syracuse, science lecturers and everything came in to confirm that this was real, that this was an ancient giant that had been laid to rest there, and he's kind of petrified. It took quite a while, like tons of people come and they paid money, and even someone's like, I want to put my money in on this, and they'd offer $30,000 to invest in this for sightseeing and everything like that. Even, was this the one? I get them all confused. Yeah. So Barnum and Bailey, P.T. Barnum was interested in it, hearing about it, and he's like, I want in on this because I can show it in my show and make more money on it. But he didn't actually obtain it, but he made copies of it. So even with his replicas of the Cardiff Giant, he was making money on it. And anyways, it wasn't until several years later that someone came in and like chiseled it away, found out that it was made up of gypsum, and then they started putting it together. People in town had said they remember a year earlier somebody coming through with a giant iron box. Like, I don't know what that was, but they started to put it together and realized that he had basically fooled everybody for several years and a lot of money later. Like I think he'd made somewhere between like $10,000 or something during that time.
Wow.
So anyways, he definitely took advantage, and it's still one of the most famous giant discoveries.
They still have it somewhere, right?
I don't know if that
think.
one they do. They do this other one.
Oh, okay.
So I combined these two because several years later, 1879, I don't know how to say this.
Toffanok?
Is it Toffanok?
I think so.
They call it Toggy.
Toggy.
Was discovered in 1879 during hotel renovations and put on display before it was revealed as a hoax. So this one was actually buried this was in New York as well. Teamed up with John Thompson, two guys, they created the stone giant using stone dust, eggs, minerals, iron fillings, and beef blood.
What?
To make it look like a body. Like that it
my
had
gosh.
substance.
Eggs?
More, so it didn't just seem like it.
Put a couple eggs in there.
You want it to solidify, you get the egg whites.
Got to keep it all together with the eggs.
I just was like, all the crap that went into this, so that basically if anyone took samples, it would come up as
There was
like
some
blood types
biological
and stuff.
substance in there.
So after its discovery, Cornell scientists deemed the corpse authentic,
Wow.
lending credibility to the story and the draw of tourism to see the artifact.
and
so again,
decredibility to Cornell.
Yes. So a lot of people, because I think they chiseled off a piece and then they tested it and they're like, man, it's got some body parts in here. It looks like egg, iron. And
A lot of protein, some choline in there.
So it seemed like it was an actual like petrified body.
Wow.
But then it later came out that it was a hoax too. I think they admitted to it. They did make a replica of it.
Wow.
And it sits in a pavilion across from Trumansburg's Farmers Market, wherever that is, somewhere in New York. But I want to go see it.
I'd love to see that.
Not the original, though. I don't know what happened. Someone probably ate the other one.
Oh, yeah, it's tasty.
It's good.
Beef blood, eggs,
Cook it up.
minerals.
So those two are famous like discoveries
Yeah.
that weren't real.
Were not
And then for a
discoveries.
long time, people paid money to see them because they thought they were.
Have you ever heard the curious tale of the Cottingley fairies?
I hadn't heard
Cottingley
this
fairies? I don't know how to say that. It started back in the summer of 1917.
Cottingley?
1917. World War I was happening, right? 1917.
Yeah.
When 9-year-old Frances Griffiths and
Good
her
movie was produced during
Oh, yeah. returned to England from South Africa to stay with the Wright family on Cottingley, West Yorkshire. Next to the house where Polly and Arthur Wright had their 16-year-old daughter, Elsie, lived, was a small wooded valley through which Cottingley Beck flowed. Elsie and Francis, they were cousins, always getting into mischief, right? When they got told off from coming home wet, they came home, they're all wet. They're like, look, we went to see the fairies. That's why we're wet. And they're like,
Really?
yeah. She's like, what are you talking about? That's the dumbest thing I've ever heard. And she's like, no, give me your camera. I'm going to go take some pictures. So they went out. They came back with some photos within an hour. And her dad was an amateur photographer, had his own dark room. So he went in there. He started to develop these pictures. And the image, which is super famous now, shows Frances, head slightly tilted, gazing off just to the right of the photographer. In front of her, several winged fairy figures dressed in diaphanous clothing are dancing.
Ooh.
Frances looks as though she's trying hard not to laugh. So do you see the photo there? Like,
Yeah.
It looks kind of cheesy, but you got to remember this is 1917 and it was easy to fool people, okay? Arthur Wright, her dad, was immediately suspicious. He's like, I don't know about this. This seems a little weird.
That girl's a little
Yeah, she's always doing stuff. Never cleans her room, always taking pictures of
I was
fairies.
coming back wet. I'm sick of it.
Yeah, the dresses are always wet. Get dry, dummy. And then when the girls came back in September with an impressive plate showing Elsie holding out her hand to a gnome-like winged figure, Arthur was still unconvinced. He knew the girls had been up to something. He just wasn't sure how they done. I don't know how you kids are doing this. This is weird.
Yeah.
I haven't seen no fairy ever, never. Okay? This is stupid.
Ever, never.
Ever, never. Arthur's instincts were right, though it would be decades before that was confirmed. Elsie's mother, Polly, this is funny, was interested in the theosophical movement. Remember we talked about this theosophical movement at some point.
There's a lot of that.
Bunch of
yeah.
weirdos. Right? And she took the photographs to a meeting of the Theosophical Society in nearby Bradford. Appropriately, the subject of the evening lecture was fairy life. Weird. Easy. Let me show you. And the images appeared to have caught the imagination and enthusiasm of the society's supporters. And one of its leading members, Edward Gardner, okay, seizing an opportunity to promote the most important spiritual message of Theosophists, that's a hard word to say,
Yeah.
that humankind
Glad I'm not reading that.
was undergoing a process of transformation that would lead eventually to the perfection of the species. We were getting there. And these photos prove it somehow. Some girls playing with fairies in the woods.
I've been looking for this proof.
Thank you, Lord. Theosophical movement shall continue on, right?
Oh,
so he claimed that these images were supernatural proof that the great metaphysical changes were happening. Tell you, right there. It's happening.
Clear as day.
You guys looking at these photos?
I'm passing them around. How do you not get it?
Everybody look. It's happening. Okay? The images appeared in a spiritualist
Just see
magazine.
him like, just like they're all just sweating. He's just like,
Yeah.
I've shown you these pictures, and I'm here to tell you
It's happening.
they're going through a change.
Yeah. It's proof.
This
Proof
is
positive.
The most important event
Yeah.
in history.
The images appeared in a spiritualist magazine where they caught the eye of Sir Arthur Conan Doyle, who was a believer in spiritualism himself. And Sir Arthur Conan Doyle, he's the dude that wrote Sherlock Holmes.
Oh, yeah.
And all those, right? Some other stuff. Anyways, he was about to write a piece on fairies, of course, for the Christmas edition of the Strand magazine, and asked Arthur and Elsie for permission to use the images. It's like, I want to use these. These are perfect for my article for fairies.
Showing transition and everything.
Yeah, I mean, look, I'm writing an article on fairies. I see some pictures of some
Perfect
real
timing.
fairies. I don't know. Something's happening here. Let's use these, all right? Anyways, people continued to believe in the fairies through the 20s and 30s because people were idiots. They wanted to have faith in the girls and the story that they told somewhere in a forgotten
I
corner.
just know in my heart it's real.
Yeah.
I just know in my heart.
These fairies are real. there are things that we don't know
My daughter
about.
believes him. I believe him.
Yep. Fairies. Fairies in the woods.
It's true.
Hard as though it is to believe now, debate on the authenticity of the Cottingley fairies continued into the 60s.
Wow.
That's the 1960s, not 1860s.
Wow.
We're talking about the 1960s. Television opened up a greater opportunity for investigative journalism in the following decade, where the images came under greater scrutiny. However, they were not entirely debunked until the 1980s. This is like, I'm born now. People are still believing in fairy
Apparently
photos.
no one was going back to look at those pictures for
Like,
a
look at 'em.
long time.
Like, you can tell that they're cardboard cutouts when you look at them. In 1980s,
We don't have no cardboard around here.
nah, ain't nobody had cardboard down in those days in Cottingley. Jeffrey Crawley, the editor of the British Journal
The
of Photography.
positioning of them is, I mean, the feet and stuff,
Sure.
pretty good.
It does look pretty good. I'll give you that.
I'd buy it on eBay.
For sure, yeah. British Journal of Photography undertook a major investigation, concluding that they were fakes. Finally, in the 1980s.
Oh my gosh, that long.
Yeah. The cousins were both still alive in the 1980s. They had to have been like freaking old as garbage at that point.
We're still talking about this?
Are you guys kidding me? We're still talking about these photos that we took.
They're
It's
both
been
just sitting there with-
85 years.
It's been 85. They're both just sitting in a care center with wings.
That really happened.
I was a fairy.
I promise this really
Waiting
happened.
for him to sprinkle dust on me. Move on.
Yep. Theosophical Society.
That's crazy. It
knew.
lasted that long.
Yeah, they finally
That's got to be the record, right?
They finally said, look, it's a hoax. In 1983.
At least they didn't die with their secret.
I know. Exactly. Anyways, that's kind of weird.
That is really weird.
Well, actually, the funny thing was, they said they maintained all their life that fairies and their sunbath, the fifth and last image, was real.
What?
The others were fakes, but the last one's real.
We caught him.
We got them finally. Didn't have to do no cardboard or nothing. Those are real.
I'm a real fairy.
Yeah. Can I have some more tapioca, please? Change my diaper.
That's
Yeah. You know,
that's probably what tells us real. Get you more tapioca.
that was real. I want double tapioca rations for the rest of the week. Okay. I want extra of those blue
That's a very
pills too.
weird. That's a very weird like voice because it sounds like an old woman, but
Yeah.
it's got like a deep man.
Is that what it is?
It creeped me out a little bit.
Sorry. Give me more
But I
tapioca.
can see a lady talking
Yeah,
like
I
that.
know,
You're like,
huh?
ugh.
Yeah.
I'm a fairy.
Miss Fairy.
This one, I mean, not super exciting because we've all heard about this one.
Sure, but that's okay.
The crop circles.
For sure.
1980s to 1990s, cornfields became known not for such sensational entertainment as corn mazes, but for mysteries like
Corn
crop
mazes.
circles.
Yeah.
Crop circles were areas in the fields where the crop had been flattened by circular
We've all seen
geometric
signs.
patterns. Okay, it's
Okay.
easy. They would appear mysteriously out of nowhere, usually overnight, especially in the UK, but later in parts of US, Japan, and a handful of other places.
Pennsylvania.
They still pop up,
Right?
you know? And they're very like a perfect circle.
Yeah.
I think that's
Like
isn't
the
that a
band.
band?
Like the band.
Yeah. The phenomenon had no known cause, baffling experts, but providing plenty of work for producers and TV specials.
I wish I could remember when those things like hit
I
the
remember
news.
I kind of do remember like some news
I
stuff
don't.
about them because I was like, are these real? And I never really got a sense of like, does anyone know for sure?
Yeah.
I don't ever remember it coming out as, a hoax.
I don't remember any
But
of it.
I figured it was.
I'm sad that I don't.
Despite all these efforts, investigators never succeeded in witnessing the formation of a crop circle. That's what blows my mind.
Yeah.
All these groups, these nerds that are talking to each other.
Nerds that can't get girlfriends.
Yeah.
Hanging out with other nerds that can't get girlfriends.
They've been doing it for years and they'll keep doing it. Or what?
Why can't they get girlfriends?
I love how Mel Gibson's like, all
I know
right,
he's just
this
like
goes with
watching
it.
this. Yeah.
But yeah, they never did succeed seeing him making this. So
Yeah.
it was kind of hard to like debunk it.
Yeah.
Researchers assumed the crop circles were caused by weather events, even localized whirlwinds, electrical phenomenon, and a combination of the two. It's a whirlwind electrical phenomenon deal. Happens.
That makes no sense.
Spins perfect, knocks down all the grain.
The corn.
It's freaking weird.
No.
proponents of this theory worked hard. They tried to like prove this in labs and stuff. The fact that the circle started appearing in the U.S. in tornado-prone areas was seen as a potential confirmation of the whirlwind theory. See, a little teeny one started right there.
Yeah, sure.
And the big one just destroyed that trailer park.
But didn't they also have like lines and things?
They did. They were like
that's what I'm
connected.
Like how's a tornado going to do that?
Yeah, I don't know.
I don't know.
I don't know. A lot of people think that they're like a map, directions, telling people.
Yeah, I think so too.
But yeah, I mean, obviously, that's where Signs came from because it was about this whole hoax.
And if you haven't seen Signs, get off your ass right now and go watch Signs. It's one of the best movies ever made.
I think so too.
Screw you if you don't like it.
Yeah, I agree.
You know, Joaquin Phoenix has done a lot of good movies in his life. Never as good of a performance as he's given
so
in
good
Signs.
I agree.
Yeah.
Mel Gibson, again, phenomenal.
Oh, yeah.
As usual.
Absolutely.
Reality ended up being brutally embarrassing to the crop circle research community. In the 90s, two farmers, Doug Bauer and Dave Chorley,
Doug and Dave,
confessed to single-handedly starting the entire crop circle phenomenon in 1978, using ropes and a plank of wood. Hell, it's easy. He's got ropes and wood and spun it around.
Apparently a few people with some ropes and some wood can do this overnight.
Yes. Thanks, officer.
Yeah.
But yeah, crop circle experts were reluctant to give up the lucrative TV hosting gigs.
Sure.
Resisted the hoax explanation, but eventually had to concede that they'd been duped.
Somebody needs to do like a investigative podcast documentary on this or something.
I think it was phenomenal what they had done and created. And like, there's no way these two dudes were communicating with other groups.
Doug and Dave, they could barely... They couldn't even...
Rope and wood.
Yeah, rope and wood. They were hardly even successful
crazy,
farmers,
like,
apparently.
They think that's where it like stemmed from, is just these guys wanting to go out and spin some donuts, whip some shitties out there.
Whip some what?
That's what we used to call them.
Whip some what?
Shitties.
Oh.
I don't know where that came from.
Like Brody's. Or is
Brody's,
that,
yeah.
Or,
I think like everywhere has its own little way of talking about a donut.
Yeah, Brody's Donuts. Yeah, shitties. Yeah, there's a lot.
I don't know why, yeah. But anyways, that one's pretty cool just because like no one ever witnessed it being done.
Yeah.
I'm sure some did, but they were part of it.
It's a hoax, man.
Yeah.
It's a hoax. This one's kind of dumb. I'm going to read it anyways.
What was this one?
Did you ever hear about the disappearing blonde gene?
No, I hadn't ever heard
So
of
stupid. So the disappearing blonde gene was a hoax claiming a scientific study had estimated that natural blondes would become extinct. Repeated as a fact in reputable media such as the BBC and the Sunday Times between 2002 and 2006. This is modern times, my friend. People were like, the blondes are going away. They're not going to be here
Genes
anymore.
are so dumb they ain't being
The hoax claimed that because the allele for genes for hair color is recessive, blonde hair would become less common as people with dominant non-blonde hair alleles had offspring with people with recessive alleles.
Just kept getting them
even
bigger, bigger.
Even though such a pairing would retain one. Anyways, it was all over the place.
Yet in the history of mankind, that allele has never been suppressed.
Exactly, yeah. So anyways, that was a thing like people thought.
Happen. That's
there was
crazy.
a 4-year period where people were scared about the blondes going away.
I love my gold locks.
I just don't want blondes to go away forever.
Yeah.
I want...
I mean, I'm sure most males probably think blondes don't exist anyway. They're like, they're all bleach their hair.
Yeah, they're all brown hair these days.
And soon you see them, you're like, did they dye it or is that their natural hair? Never know.
Never
no
know.
one, I don't even know my wife's own hair color.
Never know.
Never seen it.
Never seen it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't think I have either.
This one I thought was pretty funny because
Okay.
I had never heard of it. Have you heard of a drop bear?
The name sounds familiar.
Yeah.
But I don't know.
Not a candy.
Oh, it's not. Oh.
So the drop bear, sometimes known as
bear.
the
The what?
Thylarctus plumetus,
Oh, I've heard of that.
a large arboreal predatory marsupial related to the koala.
Oh, okay.
This thing's the size of a leopard, having orange fur and dark modeling, and with powerful forearms for climbing and attacking prey.
Wow.
It's like the evil twin brother of the koala.
Koalas are kind of scary anyways.
They are a little bit.
Those things are
they were like,
beasts.
I like when they like startle them. They're all
I know. They're like all cute and cuddly.
yeah. They
Yeah.
like and the bite is made using broad, powerful premolars rather than canines. So they would drop down on tourists. And I don't know what it never said exactly. They don't know if they bite the jugular or what, but basically they are aggressive. There's only a couple of ways that you can prevent them from jumping down on you.
Yeah.
You can you can put forks in your hair.
Oh, I've done that.
So if they drop down, they're just going to get gouged, and then they're going to run off.
They fork you.
You can put Vegemite or toothpaste spread behind your ears or in your armpits.
Oh, armpits, that'll do it. Vegemite or toothpaste spread?
Yep, either or.
Either or.
Either or
Okay.
for some reason.
Okay.
You can urinate on yourself.
Do that sometimes.
Just piss on your head
Just
and
in
nothing's
case.
going to come on you.
I know. I can't.
Come down on you.
But would number 2 help?
Yeah.
Okay.
That episode. And the other thing is, you don't want to be speaking regular like American or British.
Oh.
You want to speak with an Australian accent.
They don't drop on locals.
Nope.
That makes sense.
So, anyways, yeah.
Yeah.
So this drop bear was probably created for people that hated tourists.
Sure, yeah.
They wanted to freak them out that there was a aggressive form of the koala that was up in the trees, dropped down on
Yeah.
you, but you could do all this ridiculous crap
Yeah.
to prevent it.
Maybe
And
it was
so-
like a fork salesman.
But they
that
even
came
gave
up with
it that scientific name.
Yeah.
Stylarctos
Plummetus. Plummetus.
Plummetus, that's what it is.
Yeah.
Plummetus.
They plummet from the tree.
That's pretty funny.
That is pretty funny. Hey, Cam, I got to tell you about nutrient survival. It's made with real ingredients, no drop bear ingredients,
is.
guarantee it. Made in America, not in Australia, to keep Americans healthy, strong, and alert. Perfect for today, ready for anything ahead.
Ain't no hoax with this.
Heck no. From hearty, delicious entrees and nutrient-dense snacks to immunity-boosting drinks and strength-building shakes, each with 40 essential nutrients. Available in handy singles, daily use pantry packs, durable cans, and 3 to 90-day survival kits, keeping your world safe and your body in peak condition. Cameron.
I agree.
Yeah. This isn't your cheap, empty-calorie, bland food storage. Blech. This stuff actually has nutritional value, and it tastes freaking good. They have their new NREs, Nutrition Ready to Eat. They're freaking awesome. Head over to nutrientsurvival.com. Use our code CASUALPREPPERS. You're going to get 10% off your order. Like, this is like actually good, healthy food storage, my friends. You eat this every day, you're going to be healthier than you are now. Okay? So go get it. nutrientsurvival.com.
No hoax there.
Nope.
It's real. It's
Exactly.
real.
Use our code CASUALPREPPERS.
Yeah.
Cam, this one is one of my favorites.
I didn't look into any of the details. Just the name
Yeah,
alone
I know.
cracked me up.
Have you ever heard of the furry trout
I have not.
or the fur-bearing
But
trout?
I'm going to go after it.
Yeah, you got to have a good spinner for these guys, I tell you. It's a legendary creature purportedly found in American folklore and Icelandic folklore. Both.
Okay.
According to folklore, the trout has created a thick coat of fur to maintain his body heat. It's like you get in that cold water. You know, it's hard to keep your body temp up as
yeah.
a fish. But if you grow
if you
some
adapt.
hair, you got to adapt. Okay? Tales of furry fish date to the 17th century and later
Wow, it's that old,
the
huh?
shaggy trout of Iceland.
And shaggy, baby.
Yeah, shaggy baby. Yeah. The earliest known American publication dates from a 1929 Montana Wildlife Magazine article by J.A. Hicken. A taxidermied furry trout produced by Ross C. Jobe is a specimen at the Royal Museum of Scotland. It is a trout with a white rabbit fur ingeniously attached. You look at it, it looks pretty cool. I'd love to have that on my wall. Look at that thing. You want to pet it.
I could see.
You want to
could
pet
s-
that fish.
I could see that cutting through the water.
For sure. Yeah. You wouldn't be able to swim very fast. Right? It's got to have a lot of drag. with all that.
He's so cute.
He's so cute. An account of a furry trout appeared in 1929 My Wife Mag. It was a
I highly suggest you do look up the image.
You gotta look it
It's
up,
freaking
yeah.
hilarious.
Hickens' account states that when the fish is caught, okay, once you catch this thing, it gets even weirder. The change of temperature from this water to atmosphere is so great that the fish explodes upon being taken from the water. You got to be careful. Wear some goggles or something because it's going to blow up in your hand.
Get one pet and boom.
Yeah, one pet and that sucker's gone. But the cool thing is once it explodes, the fur and the skin come off in one perfect piece. So it must explode out the butthole or something, or the mouth.
Well, I got the fur.
You don't even have to gut this sucker, which is great because it makes it available for commercial purposes.
Oh,
it
yeah.
leaves the body of the fish
It's perfect.
for refrigerator or for eating.
So that one that's on the wall, it didn't explode.
yeah, it
Looks
must have,
pretty intact.
yeah, but I think it must have come out the tail or the front, and they just reconstructed
That's true.
that piece. Okay.
That'd be so. I'd catch that sucker and just flip it over to camp.
I know, yeah. Yeah, it'd be
Got me a
perfect. Fur fish.
furry trout.
A tall tale was recounted by S.E. Schlosser It states that the hairy trout resulted from 2 bottles or 4 jugs of spilled hair tonic.
Floating in the water.
Just floating in the water. And it got that hair tonic on it and started growing.
Something's changing.
Something going on. So to catch a hairy trout, fishermen would
That's easy. I can tell you how it grew that hair.
Let me tell you a story about some spilled hair tonic in a creek.
The end. That's it.
That's how it happened. To catch a hairy trout, fishermen would act as barbers. Lure fish from the waters with an offer of a free trim or shave.
They just like sit there and shave their razor blade.
Yeah.
Come on, fishy.
I'm ready.
You want to get that fur off?
Looking a little long there,
It seems
trout.
like something I could see, like a beer commercial.
I know,
Of them
huh?
like catching them, like,
Yeah.
like shaving them and then throwing them back in the water.
It's like shearing sheep.
Yep, shearing sheep.
Yeah. An intentional fantastical story in Maine claimed that hairy trout were under a catch and release policy. And that was enforced by wardens carrying the Brannock devices. Those are those like where you measure your foot.
Oh, yeah.
Those silver things at the shoe store. If fish were caught, the warden would measure it against the fisher's foot.
Before it exploded.
Yeah, before it exploded. If the fish's length matched the fisher's foot size, the fish could be eaten and the pelt made into furry slippers. Perfect
Slippers.
size.
Yeah.
Perfect size.
That
right?
does sound nice.
Yeah. So, anyways, that is the furry trout.
Man, we need to get some of these art, like
I know.
a replica of that to have in the studio.
Up in the studio or in the
So
bunker or
awesome.
something. It's a beautiful looking fish.
It is. Yeah.
Yeah.
Keep it low enough so kids can pet it.
Yeah, like use it as a pillow or something. Stuff it full of cotton. And
Yeah, you probably
lay on
can
it.
find one of those.
Yeah.
Furry trout. I'm going to
great.
do that.
I
Make
know.
it a big deal before Christmas.
Yeah.
People will be trading them.
Oh, you took this one, huh? Okay.
So, is this yours?
It's fine. It's green now. Take it.
It was not. Okay. Go ahead.
Oh, no. This is different. This is
it?
different. Yeah.
Oh, okay. Well, the Great Moon Hoax. We've talked about this one before. So, August 25th, 1835, the first in a series of 6 articles announcing the supposed discovery of life on the moon appears in the New York Sun newspaper.
Oh, of course. It's not the,
The
New York
Great
Moon
Moon
newspaper.
Hoax. The articles were supposedly reprinted from the Edinburgh Journal of Science.
Read all about it. Read all about it. The moon is a hoax, everybody.
No, this is about like life on the moon.
Oh, the moon is real, everybody. There's people living there.
Reprint. Dr. Andrew Grant, described as a colleague of Sir John Herschel, a famous astronomer of the day. Herschel had, in fact, traveled to Cape Town, South Africa in January 1834 and set up an observatory with a powerful new telescope. Never been used before.
Never been used before.
As Grant described it, Herschel had found evidence of life forms on the moon, such as a unicorn, two-legged beaver, and
I call it a moonicorn.
two-legged beavers.
Uh-huh.
I think those are already around. Winged humanoids
The blue
resembling bats. Yeah. And I think have you ever seen like those reproduced 1940s images of like space? I love those. They're all
they're
clunk,
so
clunk,
awesome.
clunk,
Yeah.
like
Yeah.
stuff. And I think this is where they got a lot of the ideas. The articles were offered vivid description of the moon's geography, complete with massive craters, enormous amethysts, crystals, rushing rivers, and lush vegetation.
How could you think that when you can kind of see with
Can't
your
see the
own...
backside.
Can't see the backside.
Can't see the backside.
I hate when I can't see the backside.
Yeah.
It's my favorite part.
Yeah, the moon's. Yeah, we're talking about the moon.
Yeah, we're talking about the moon. Yeah.
So these articles were most likely written by Richard Adams Locke, a Sun reporter educated at Cambridge University.
It's kind of weird that this is about the moon and it's from the sun.
I know.
Report,
That's
right?
true.
Some fishies
Yeah.
going on. Furry fishies.
Yeah,
going
intended
on.
as satire, and they were designed to poke fun at an earlier serious speculations about extraterrestrial life. It was kind of a big deal back then.
Sure.
Because particularly one of them, Reverend Thomas Dick.
Reverend Dick at your service. You ready to hear Dick's sermon?
You young boys need to be taught proper.
Mr. Dick,
Anyway,
Reverend Dick can give
A
you
popular science writer who claimed in his best-selling books that the moon alone had 4.2 billion inhabitants.
Listen to Dick, he knows.
It's the size of, it's that much smaller than Earth, but it has 4.2 billion.
Gosh, that's
This
crowded.
this was back in the 1800s.
Yeah.
Easy. roughly 4.2 billion. On
He's a reverend and he's right. He's a science writer.
Yeah.
Wow.
He's tricking everybody.
He's a tricker.
On September 16, 1835, the Sun admitted the article had been a hoax.
Oh,
so,
come on.
Yeah, I'm not going to read about the rest of that stuff.
Yeah.
So that's pretty cool.
That's a good one. I like that.
I want to see that two-legged beaver.
Or the
How does that
moonicorn.
thing's like, I don't know. Okay.
I don't know. Things
Flapping
have two
that
legs.
tail. I guess that's true.
It just stands upright.
Yeah.
It's a beaver that stands upright.
Right.
Right?
I guess that's simple.
Moon beaver. Makes sense. And a moonicorn.
It's one of those moon beavers.
Oh, yeah, that's a moon beaver. 100%.
I don't see any pictures of those.
Yeah, Google moon beaver, see what you get. See what happens.
Yeah, no.
Hey, Google, what's a moon beaver?
I'm just looking for a moon beaver.
Babe, I was just looking for moon beavers. This is podcast prep.
History just plastered. I was trying to find a moon beaver.
Unicorn, moon beaver.
Casual Preppers talked about it. I'm just looking for a moon beaver.
Yeah, blame it on us, boys.
Well, what's this blue waffle you're looking for, too?
I don't know. Furry trout, what?
You're weird.
You got to go to a psychiatrist. Weird stuff. You ever heard of a hurricane shark?
No.
Or a street shark?
No, it sounds awesome.
So basically, these are nicknames for several claimed instances of a live shark swimming in a flooded urban area, typically in the aftermath of a hurricane. I do remember these.
I don't remember.
Really?
These.
For more than a decade, starting with Hurricane Irene in 2011, all media purporting to document such claims, most notably an image of a shark swimming on a flooded freeway, were debunked as fabrications. So there were like these pictures going around of a flooded freeway.
And the shark just swimming down it?
There's a shark swimming down
Ooh,
it.
yeah.
So that's the whole thing.
I could see that.
That's the whole thing. But there was actually one that they said was real at some point. Anyways, most of them are hoax. It's Photoshop, guys.
But maybe it real.
Have you ever used Photoshop? You can
Never.
do crazy things
But I see
with
that
it.
people can do.
Yeah, you can do. So hurricane sharks aren't really a real thing. Street sharks.
Well, that's dumb.
It's a hoax.
That'd have been cool.
I know.
So did Sharknado come from maybe this?
Probably.
Sharknado.
Yeah.
This one, real quick, I thought it was funny because people believe everything that Apple produces is better. You know,
Yeah, sure.
It's more sophisticated. Apple's software, iOS 8, had a feature that most didn't know about. I didn't know about it. The new feature was called Wave. Did you ever hear about this?
No.
I never did either. It claims that a feature was actually just a update to the software would allow you to charge your phone in your microwave.
Oh, of course.
And there's even like a little fancy, it looked like something that was at the Apple conference that showed the phone and it said 60 seconds at 700 watts or 70 seconds at 800 watts. Charge your phone all the way up.
That's nice.
I'd love to charge a phone in like
sure.
60 seconds.
It'd be great.
But apparently people believed it so much that they started microwaving their phones. Explosions, burns, pictures of them are online. That's crazy.
They deserved it.
Did not actually have that feature.
They
found out within the first 10 seconds of microwaving their phone.
Yep.
Yeah, they deserved it.
They
all now use Android.
Exactly. Yeah.
Which does have a microwave
They were
feature.
about smart enough to use an Android. I'm just kidding.
Well,
we were having that conversation
it was
last night.
released a lot earlier on Android.
Yeah, that's right.
Apple's the new.
Yeah, this is the new stuff. 1884. A major newspaper in British Columbia, that's in Canada, Cameron, featured a detailed article about the capture of a creature resembling both an ape and a young human boy. I don't know how that works. It's an ape and a young human boy along the railway line between the towns of Boston Bar and Yale, British Columbia. Nicknamed Jacko, the creature was taken to Yale and thereafter simply disappeared. Like, where the crap did Jacko go? However, the entire thing turned out to be a hoax, as the hundreds of people who visited the jail and tried to view Jacko discovered since Jacko was non-existent. Hundreds of people came to the jail like, I gotta see this boy ape hybrid.
I would.
The story remained buried for like some 75 years. It was then resurrected by researchers in a quest to discover the truth behind sightings and other evidence of existence of Sasquatch. It was sort of like a Sasquatch story, right?
Yeah.
Anyways, the story's been told and retold many
Another
times.
Sasquatch story.
Yeah, it's not that interesting, but that's the Jacko hoax.
I haven't heard of that one, though.
How about the Langdegly? Say it. Landegly International Airport.
Oh, yeah. This one is
It's hard to
weird.
say. It's hard to say. For the past 2 decades, a billboard for Landegly International Airport has been a landmark near the Powys Village. Okay?
It's a tiny little town.
Tiny little town.
village.
Yeah, a little village.
Jeez.
It looks like an ordinary road sign, but actually signpost to an airport that only exists in people's imagination.
And they just left the sign up.
Yeah.
Huh?
After spending thousands of pounds to erect and maintain the sign, the owner decided it's time to take it down.
Oh, he did take it down.
Yeah, since 2002.
I
don't know.
I want to build an airport
It's
sign.
so weird. If you travel eastward along the A44 between Rayadar and Kington, you will see a sign directing drivers to terminals 1 and 3 of the Landingley International Airport.
Where did it go?
Nowhere. But
Like there wasn't like some other thing to see, or
No,
he
there
was
wasn't.
leading people.
but drive the 2.5 miles as instructed, and you will end up not in an airport or
Oh,
even
it's 2.5 miles off from the
yeah,
road.
or an airfield, but just a field
At
on
least
the
you made it
outskirts
far
of the
enough
village.
that you couldn't see it.
Yeah. The man behind it, Nichols Whitehead, is a journalist who used to edit.
I'm Nichols Whitehead again.
I'm Nichols Whitehead. I make fake signs for fake airports. Real signs for fake airports. That's my specialty. He used to edit the Randor edition of the Brecon and Randor Express, and once wrote with Monty Python's Terry Jones. He said, it started off as a wild conversation with friends one evening in Landingley. We thought of renting a sign or for something that wasn't really there. Like, how much drinking do you have to do to come up with this idea?
I know.
What if we rented a sign that's not really something there? We just did it for
How
fun.
many pounds you get?
Yeah, put your pounds on the table, and possibly a project that didn't exist. And we settled on the airport. They came up with it that night. It started off as a bit of a joke, and we realized it was actually possible. It was made by Wrexham Signs, given the okay.
Wrexham, huh?
Yeah, one thing led to another, and there it is.
Oh.
He added, as a journalist, whatever you do, someone somewhere is going to get upset about it. Anyways,
Welcome
yeah, in
to
November
the
of
modern world.
2022, he took down the sign because he had spent a total of 25,000 pounds to date to keep the thing up for no good reason.
What?
Yeah,
How does a sign
he had
cost
to
that much
rent
to
it.
keep?
It was like a
Oh.
billboard. He had to rent it, right? I don't know if it was worth
Build
it.
your own.
Yeah, I know. He expressed the hope that the Welsh government's heritage body, CADW, might be interested in funding it as a future cultural landmark. After a crowdfunding campaign in May of 2023, a new sign was erected east of the village where the landowner will allow it to remain without cost. People were pissed that they took it down. You know what I mean?
That's our airport.
That's our fake airport. Put it back up. So anyways.
That's crazy.
Pretty weird, huh?
That is really weird.
Here's another one that's kind of interesting. The Mars hoax. It was circulated by email that began in 2003 and claimed that Mars would look as large as the full moon to the naked eye.
That'd be awesome.
On August of 27th, 2003. I would be interested in seeing that as well. The hoax has since resurfaced each time Mars was at its closest to the Earth, about every 26 months. It began from a misinterpretation and exaggeration of a sentence in an email message that reported the close approach between Mars and Earth in August of 2003. The original email read, "The red planet is about to be spectacular. This month and next, Earth is catching up with Mars in an encounter that will culminate in the closest approach between the two planets in recorded history. The next time Mars may come this close will be 2287. Due to the way Jupiter's gravity tugs on Mars and perturbs its orbit, astronomers can only be certain that Mars has not come this close to Earth in the last 5,000 years.
Wow.
And it may be as long as 60,000 years before it happens again. So they're getting people hyped for this sucker.
Go see it.
Yeah, and it says, blah, blah, blah. Mars will look as large as the full moon to the naked eye.
Oh, my gosh.
People are that stupid. Anyways, obviously that didn't happen.
Dang it.
Yeah. So
That's cool.
yeah, they thought
I
it was
kind
good.
of feel like I remember hearing about the Mars being close, but then again, I get those all the time.
Sure.
Jupiter and Venus will align tonight.
Yeah,
You're like,
exactly.
I'm gonna go see. It's just a star.
Nothing looks
Okay,
any
never
different.
mind. That's dumb.
Yeah.
I thought this was funny. I'd never seen this. Microsoft's acquisition of the Catholic Church.
Oh, that's a good.
Did you know that happened?
I did not know.
It did not happen. The press release claimed that Microsoft will acquire the Roman Catholic Church in exchange for an unspecified number of shares of Microsoft common stock.
Jeez.
And that the company expects a lot of growth in the religious market in the next 5 to 10 years.
Yeah.
Combined resources of Microsoft and the Catholic Church will allow us to make religion easier and more fun for a broader range of people.
Gosh.
Many of the press releases' claims were unrealistic, from suggesting that Catholics would soon be able to take a Holy Communion through their computer to
Oh, nice.
claiming that conversion to Catholicism was an upgrade.
Yeah, it's like a software upgrade.
Yep.
Right.
Despite these warning signs, several readers on the false press release contacted Microsoft to confirm the claims were of hoax. You have to update your computers.
Yeah.
And on December 16th, 1994, Microsoft formally debunked the claims.
Oh, man.
Follow-up press release made similar outrageous claims. For example, one false press release claimed that IBM had acquired the Episcopal Church.
That's awesome.
And another suggested the Italian television network RAI had invested in what release claimed to be Microsoft Corp's planned online computer service, the Microsoft Divine Network.
MDN.
I like that one.
Yeah.
So, a lot of money, so some people will believe it. Oh, I bet you they would buy it.
Heck yeah. Why not?
Yeah.
That's pretty good. You know what I would buy? Off the grid surplus
Me too.
gear. Oh my gosh. Because their mission is to inspire greater connection through adventure, right? I mean, we all love adventure. Do you love adventure, Cameron?
I like it.
How much do you love it?
Enough to wear it.
Enough to wear. I wear adventure. That's a great tagline.
That is, yeah.
Wear adventure.
Do you go on adventures? Nah, I just wear it.
I wear adventure.
wear it.
I am adventure. Okay?
Off the grid, you can contact us about
These taglines, these are all copyrighted, trademarked. They do that by creating extremely functional and everyday wearable products for a great price to take you off the grid. How do they do that? They simplify your clothing options, so you only need one piece of clothing instead of 3 or 4. They combine the best features from outdoor, workwear, and tactical into one everyday, wearable, sexy package. All right, guys, go to their site, offthegridsurplus.com. Get an extra 15% off with our code CASUALPREPPERS15. It's the summer season. You got to go get their shorts because their shorts are the greatest shorts that have ever been shorted in life, in history of the world. So go get it. Okay,
I think we should get it.
I think we should get it.
I think we should all get it.
What are you laughing at?
Just the way I said that.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
Not intentional.
Not intentional. Have you ever heard of the Momo challenge?
I have.
See, I'd never really heard of
my
this.
My kids were always, they came home from school one day saying, oh, I'm going to look it up, but I don't want to look it up because I'll die.
Oh, okay.
It'll force me into suicide.
According to lore, the Momo challenge is a viral game shared on messaging services like WhatsApp. And it goads young children into violence or even suicide. That sounds bad. Images of the devilish bird lady supposedly pop up with creepy messages and commands that are said to escalate to extreme violence and horror.
Wow.
Other iterations...
You just fall through?
Yeah, you just got to do it, apparently.
Oh, crap.
Yeah. Other iterations of the story claim to feature the terrifying image spliced into children's programs like Peppa Pig or video games like Fortnite in videos posted on YouTube. Even more news reports say the challenge has spread to Snapchat. Oh my gosh. Snapchat. But the reality is it's a viral hoax. The signature image for Momo, the possessed-looking chicken lady. I didn't know she was a chicken lady. Have you seen it?
Yeah, it's
She got some
looking.
big old breasts, like the
really?
cleavage. You
Didn't see that.
see the cleavage there?
But I'm not on my computer trying to find it.
Where?
No, I didn't see that.
It's in there. Predates pretty much every report of the
I was looking at those
supposed
eyes.
challenge. It appears to have nothing to do with the viral sensation. Anyways, the challenge itself was likely cooked up on creepypasta subreddit.
I'd heard it's going through the schools pretty heavily down here.
News reports started cropping up in Latin America warning of a WhatsApp terror game because there was a suicide of a 12-year-old girl that they thought that was this, but didn't actually happen.
Ah, okay. Yeah.
Anyways,
I remember my kids saying, it's caused a bunch of suicides.
They actually say that like the news reports are the thing that really pushed this
makes
into
sense.
being like this urban legend viral hoax, but it was all just a hoax. Never happened. Never was a real
Gotcha.
thing.
Well, that's good.
I know.
Because that's bad.
Wow. That's
good 'cause that's
bad.
bad.
Yeah.
This one I thought was pretty funny. How do you think you could boost participation in attendance to a street fair? How about making a giant potato?
Sure, that'd be my
That'd
first
be one
thing.
way. Yeah.
What if we did a giant potato and get people out there?
So, Loveland, Colorado, W.L. Thorndike, editor-in-chief of the local newspaper, had wanted to promote an upcoming street fair.
When was this?
1895.
Okay.
Thorndike turned to farmer Joseph B. Swan and wanted to help bring customers in. Swan had been known for growing more than 70 different types of potatoes. I only thought there were 3.
I grow 70 different types of potatoes. I'm J.B. Swan,
Yeah, J.B. Swan, potato producer.
potato extraordinaire.
He'd been featured already in several news reports and stuff
Wow.
for his successful crops. With the help of a local photographer, Adam Talbot, they produced a photograph which appeared in the 1895 issue of the Loveland Reporter, which it was implied the potato weighed 86 pounds, 10 ounces, and measured 2 feet, 5 inches.
That's a potato.
So the picture shows the farmer holding this big old potato on his shoulder.
Yeah.
And, basically people could come and see this gigantic potato.
I kind of figured it would have to be bigger than that to really bring people in.
Yeah.
Right? I mean, that's a big potato and all, but...
I've seen bigger.
I mean, like, you want me to come to a street fair, that potato better be huge.
I'd be like 200 pounds.
Yeah,
like
that's what I was
You want
thinking.
a big old pumpkin size.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, anyways, requests, people had come to see this thing. Thorndike, realizing that the photograph was beginning to get out of control, admitted that it was a hoax. He wrote that he had asked Swan to carve a fake potato out of wood, try to get out of it.
It's a wood potato.
So, anyways, it does look pretty good for its time.
Does it?
The Photoshop, yeah. So, anyways, that's the potato hoax.
Fake taters. That's a lot
I
of
wish I
French
had an
fries.
86-pound tater.
Pretty sweet.
That'd be good for storage, food prep.
Yeah.
Just put that sugar down there.
Yeah.
The roots probably grow through your windows.
Oh man, probably would.
Or the sprouts or whatever.
Yeah. How about the Nullarbor nymph? Nullarbor
Spouts or sprouts? Is it spouts?
sprouts.
Is it sprouts?
I don't know.
Anyway,
I'm confused now.
I ain't no potato farmer.
No.
Should be.
How about the Nullarbor nymph?
Okay.
This was a hoax perpetrated in Australia between 1971 and 1972. It involved supposed sightings of a half-naked woman living amongst kangaroos on the Nullarbor Plain.
Why wouldn't you?
G'day, mate. You ever seen a Nullarbor nymph? I can't do it.
That wasn't bad.
Was it? Okay,
To
good.
me,
I wasn't
I'm sure
thinking
the
about it.
Australians aren't going to like it.
I actually, when I was doing this, I'm like, I better try my Australian accent, and then I forgot about it until just now.
You did.
Until just now.
So you just did.
I just did it, yeah. The first report on December 26, 1971 was by professional kangaroo shooters.
Oh, okay.
These
That
aren't
exists.
amateurs. These guys do it as a
The
profession.
PKS.
Yeah, PKS at your service.
You like this rifle? I'm part of the PKS, professional kangaroo shooter.
Yeah, in Eucla in Western Australia, near the border with South Australia. Doesn't tell me anything, but that's what it is. They claim to have seen a blonde, white woman amongst some kangaroos and backed their story with grainy amateur film showing a woman wearing kangaroo skins and holding a kangaroo by the tail.
Oh, dang. Yeah, that gets the Australians going.
Yeah. Oh, mate, you see that?
Hey, grab.
I know. After further sightings were claimed, the story was reported around the world, and journalists descended upon the town of Eucla, which had a population of 8 people at the time. 8 people.
Okay.
You can't even play a game of basketball in that town. Not enough people there.
Nope.
Of course, no one ever did capture any footage of the Nullarbor nymph because 5 months later in early 1972, one of the original yarn spinners confessed to the whole saga being a joke to drum up local business. All right?
Why the yarn spinner?
Yeah, I don't know. The plot was hatched on Boxing Day 1971 when Jeff Pierce, a PR man passing through town, PR guy just happened to be passing through town, couldn't pay his motel bill.
Oh.
He's like, I ain't got no money for this. Let me tell you something. We're going to do something here.
We're going
We're going to talk about some PR. As a solution, he promised the owner he'd create a publicity stunt that would put Eucla on a map.
That's pretty good.
The population of the Outback Outpost at the time consisted of just 8 people, 4 crossbred dogs, and a swearing parrot. Wrote Adelaide's advertiser.
Who wouldn't teach a parrot
Yeah.
to swear?
Over a few schooners at a bar, Jeff teamed up with a couple of kangaroo shooters, including Laurie Scott, who in turn convinced Janice Booker, his partner and future wife, to be photographed as the nymph. On one moonlit evening, the pranksters even arranged for Janice, clad only in kangaroo skins, to run across the road at 1:45 a.m., so tourists on a passing bus would report the sighting.
Oh.
All right? Some of the passengers were so concerned about the woman's plight that they left sandwiches, milk, and sweets for her on the side of the road. Milk.
Yeah.
Yeah, put some milk out there.
Out there in the hot
Yeah,
Australian
that's exactly
desert.
what she wants to drink.
Yeah, she's got enough kangaroo milk.
Yeah. A journalist recently tracked down Janice, now 75 years old, living in Adelaide. She recalled the fun times of the hoax vividly. I had to coat myself in talcum powder before slipping into the kangaroo skins because they were still fresh and wet.
Oh.
She laughed. That's exactly what she sounded like. So that sounds pretty gross.
Wow, that's way gross.
But that is the thing that
I
happened.
actually wish that didn't happen.
I know. Pretty gross.
Disturbing. So this one's an old hoax. This was a tricky one because back in the day, everybody was trying to discover whether man had evolved from ape, and they wanted that missing link.
Sure.
So the man, his name was Charles Dawson, not Darwin.
Oh.
1912. Charles
Tricky.
Dawson, an amateur archaeologist.
I'm an amateur archaeologist.
Claimed to have. Yeah. I don't think any archaeologist that I know ever claimed to be amateur.
Yeah.
Claimed to have discovered the missing link between ape and man. He found part of a human-like skull in Pleistocene gravel beds near Piltdown village in Sussex, England. Dawson wrote to Arthur Smith Woodward, keeper of the geology at the Natural History Museum at the time, about his find. Long story short, he had basically found parts of skull in a very different places and put them together. And part of the jaw was from a primitive, he basically had gotten an ape jaw. Never disclosed where he got these parts of human skull and ape. And so he kind of recreated a fictitious missing link. And it went for a long time, and there was a lot of different scholars that came and looked at it and believed that it was real. It wasn't until 1949.
What?
Yeah. New dating technology arrived and changed scientific opinion on the age of the remains. Using fluorine tests, Dr. Kenneth Oakley, a geologist at not an amateur.
No, he's
a full-on
pro
master geologist at the Natural History Museum, discovered that the Piltdown remains were only 50,000 years old, not the claimed 500,000 years old.
That makes
this
sense.
eliminated the possibility of the Piltdown man. So, anyways, that one lasted a long time.
Yeah.
This one, I liked this one. So,
Okay.
Mary Toft's Bunny Babies.
Bunny babies.
Not
Is
a
that
kid's
like
toy.
Beanie Babies?
Yeah, exactly. 18th century Europe, people paid a lot of money to see weird stuff.
Yeah, man.
Just like today.
Yeah.
Mary Toft decided to jump in on this business with a very odd idea. In England, in 1726, she went into labor with her, and her neighbor and mother-in-law delivered a liverless cat.
Liverless?
Yep.
That's
so when
very
when
specific.
she had this baby, they're like, "Look, it's a liverless cat."
How did they know it was liverless?
I don't know. That's a good question. Never thought about that. After other animal bits were retrieved from her nether legions again, they rang local obstetrician John Howard. Over the next month, he delivered a rabbit's head, a hog's bladder, the legs of a cat, and 9 dead baby bunnies.
What the what?
Yeah.
That's
yeah.
crazy.
She became the talk of the town, and many paid to witness the bizarre births, including a Swiss anatomist and the Prince of Wales secretary. Okay.
The Prince of Wales secretary's here. Wants to see you give
He wants
birth.
to see your nether lesions.
Yeah.
But her fetal fame didn't last long. A German surgeon proved a rabbit could not have developed inside her because he found corn and hay in its dung. Like, wait a minute. You don't have corn growing in that uterus, do you?
Yeah.
Someone was then caught smuggling a rabbit into her room.
Of course.
The jig was up. Toft confessed she'd been inserting animal parts into her vagina after suffering a miscarriage.
This person has problems.
So, not only was she faking it,
Yeah.
she was really putting them up inside her. That is disgusting.
This person has issues.
Yeah.
Wow. That's weird, man.
That one was disturbing.
People do weird stuff.
They do.
Man.
For money.
For money, you'll do
money.
anything. How about the Ompac spatuloids? 1872, Carl Steger. He was the one-time director of the Brisbane Museum. He's visiting Gayndah Cattle Station in northern Queensland, Australia. It's just like some of the weirdest stuff in Australia. For his dinner, he was presented with a cooked fish that he had never seen before. Indeed, it was so unusual in its appearance that he made a drawing of the fish before he ate it.
Oh, okay.
I do that sometimes.
Yeah.
And my wife makes me something like, I'm drawing this.
Let me
before
show
I
you
eat
what
this.
it looked like before we.
I want to take it. I'm going to draw it, and here you go.
Sounds like some restaurant to like
I know.
gain fame.
What?
They'll draw. They'll draw it up.
They'll draw your dinner, and then you can have it.
This is the cornstalk.
Yeah.
This is the rabbit.
This
Who
is
eats
the-
rabbit in a restaurant?
I don't know. Somebody probably does. It had a head similar to that of a known species of lungfish that are able to breathe air. That right off the bat is weird to me.
But does it explode?
No, it doesn't explode. It had a long tail and a duck-shaped bill similar to a platypus.
Why does that always end up on weird animals?
I don't know. Because it's weird.
It is. That's true.
Platypus doesn't seem like a real animal.
No.
It's got to be fake.
Poisonous.
Yeah.
Lays eggs.
It's poisonous?
It's poisonous.
I didn't know that.
Yeah.
Wow.
That's super weird.
I know. His host told him that the fish had been caught by native Australians at a local waterhole close to the Burnett River and had been swimming with other varieties of lungfish. So he sent this drawing to Francis Laporte, Count of Castleknock. That's what you would do, I guess, that in those times, who was one of the most eminent naturalists of its time. Laporte duly reported the discovery to the Linnean Society, giving it the botanical name Ompax spatuloides.
I like that.
Yeah, given such distinguished credentials and the fact that the new species could be expected to be found in remote areas of Australian outback, nobody questioned the existence of such a platyfish. And despite the fact that no other specimens were ever discovered, the fish remained on the list of Australian wildlife for 30 years. However,
I'll have boneless platyfish.
yeah, I want some boiled platyfish, please. However, eventually somebody took a closer look at Steger's drawing and deduced that it had to be taken in by a clever hoax, and he had literally swallowed hook, line, and sinker. The creature in question had almost certainly been assembled from the head of a lungfish, the body of a mullet, and the tail of an eel, and the bill of a platypus. They just stuck it
Also
together.
found on the moon.
Yeah, with moonicorns.
Moonicorns and two-legged beavers.
So anyways, yeah, Ompax spatuloides.
That's a good one.
Yep.
I hadn't heard that.
Me neither.
So another interesting animal. This I don't know why we didn't try this. Why have we not like obtained a tree octopus
I've been looking.
to bring Sasquatch in? So apparently there's an endangered species, cephalopod, which is purportedly able to live both on land and water. It's only found in the Olympic National Rainforest.
Okay.
Nearby rivers, spawning in water where its eggs are laid. So its major predator is Sasquatch.
Oh,
So
okay.
it's
yeah.
a Pacific Northwest tree octopus.
Oh, yeah.
So it's either up in the tree or,
In the
Sasquatch loves it. It's a delicacy.
phew.
But it'll come down into the river.
Tree octopus.
What'd you say?
Tree octopus.
I'm going to go brush it down and get this tree octopus.
Yeah, that's what he sounds like.
What are we having tonight? Tree octopus.
Tree octopus again.
Yeah, so apparently this was created, this hoax was actually used to kind of track how like kids and stuff can easily believe internet scams and stuff like that. So they're kind of
Weird.
seeing how easy
Yeah.
it is for them to believe
That makes sense.
fictitious stuff like
I
this.
guess.
I guess. And I'd probably start somewhere else than a tree octopus.
Tree octopus, yeah.
So this one, I'll just real quick. This was in the mid 1800s. Mummler, which is a cool name.
Mummler?
Mummler practiced double dealing craft in the 1860s. He was what was he? He was a jeweler, engraver by trade, and accidental inventor of the spirit photography.
Oh, yeah.
Mummler figured out how to produce images that were double exposed, giving one of the figures a ghostly quality. Yeah. So basically, he's like, wow, he found it by accident, took a self-portrait in a friend's studio using a plate that was already exposed. I don't know what he's taking a picture of himself for. Selfie. Oh, man, I'm going to look good.
Yeah.
This image was circulated as a gag and then fell into the hands of somebody at the Herald of Progress, a spiritualist journal.
I love the Herald
And they
of
were
Progress.
like, whoa.
Yeah.
We can really tap into the spirit world here. And so with that, it kind of took off that people wanted to get their picture taken. And what he would do is he'd find somebody that looked similar to them that they could say, this was your grandmother behind you, which would freak me out.
Oh, my gosh.
It's like you're taking a picture and there's like a
Your grandma.
ghostly grandma
And
behind
now
you.
in the 80s, they used it as like school photography. You have you and then a side
It's
profile.
exactly what
of
those
you.
pictures looked
I
like. They
know.
looked like that. But yeah, so it kind of took off because, mediums and stuff were using it. They're like, you can go down here and get your picture taken, your ancestors behind you. And people, when they're grieving and stuff like that, they'll do anything
For sure.
to see that the spirit world is there next to them. So that kind of took off. Come to find out, he was just faking and, he knew how to do it, but I think it was a doctor had gone and had his picture taken and recognized the ghost.
Oh, really?
And got all pissed off. And
wait. I don't know that guy.
Whoa. I took his
treated-
appendix out last week.
I checked his prostate 3 days ago.
Yeah.
That ain't no
He
ghost.
ain't dead. He's on my watch.
He ain't dead. He's got high blood pressure, but he ain't dead.
He's the one that debunked it and
That's awesome.
and that guy admitted to taking the pictures.
I want my money back, mumbler.
Yeah, yep.
Give it back.
I ain't treating you.
Uh-uh.
But that's funny.
You and your diabetes can go right to hell.
Indeed.
Today's podcast is brought to you by TacPack, the only monthly tactical subscription box with useful professional grade stuff inside. Use our code CASUALPREPPERS. Get a free $70 machine-made part from Next Level Armament. How do they do it? I don't know.
I don't know either.
But somehow it's done. If you want an AR parts, if you want like EDC knives, if you want cool little gadgets for EDC gear and for your gun, get yourself a TacPack. The value is unrivaled.
It really is.
Okay.
Unrifled.
Oh, man. We are coming up with some good stuff today, and our sponsors need to get with us.
Yeah, they do.
Yeah.
We're creating everything for them.
Value unrifled. Oh, my gosh.
You can get a hold of us.
Yeah.
You know where to find
my
us.
My gosh, we are going to be rolling in the money. Have you ever heard of the protocols of the Elders of Zion?
I have.
I
We
have
actually
heard of this
talked
too.
about doing like a
full
specific
episode maybe on this.
Yeah.
Or the protocols of the meetings of the learned Elders of Zion. It's a fabricated anti-Semitic text purporting to describe a Jewish plan for global domination. The Jews, I feel bad for them.
I know.
Everybody thinks they're trying to take over the world
Yep.
all the time, right? The hoax was plagiarized from several earlier sources, some not anti-Semitic in nature. It was first published in Russia in 1903. Translated into multiple languages and disseminated internationally in the early part of the 20th century. Played a key part in popularizing belief in an international Jewish conspiracy that still is alive today. And there's a lot of people in this conspiracy world that still say that the protocols of the Elders of Zion is
I've heard
a
it.
real
I've
deal,
heard it come
man.
up a lot. Yeah.
Yeah. So, but anyways, it was exposed in 1921 by the Times and German Frankfurter Zeitung in 1924. So it's already been exposed as being a hoax, but it's remains
Still believed, huh?
available in numerous languages.
That's crazy.
You can find it, but it's a hoax, guys.
Is it? Is it though?
Apparently.
Yeah, apparently.
Apparently.
How about the Jackalope? Did you watch America's Funniest Videos when you were a kid? And
Sure,
they did
yeah.
like stupid little jackalope.
My grandpa had a jackalope.
Did he?
A mount
Yeah, I was gonna say
at Spirit Lake Lodge.
he did.
He had one up there. Yeah.
That's awesome. So, or in German, the Wolpertinger. Wolpertinger.
We're going hunting the Wolpertinger.
Oh no, it's a Wolpertinger.
Watch out, the Wolpertinger is after you.
Yeah. So in the 30s, Douglas Herrick and his brother, hunters with taxidermy skills, popularized the American jackalope by grafting deer antlers onto the jackrabbit carcass and selling the combination to the local hotel in Douglas, Wyoming.
Oh, cool.
Thereafter, and sold many similar jackalopes to retail outlets in South Dakota. Another taxidermist continues to manufacture the horned rabbits in the 21st century. So it was just a joke, something they put together, and a lot of people started believing that it might be real. And it was, it's been in TV shows, it's been in mockumentary films and things like that. The underlying legend of the jackalope, upon which the Wyoming taxidermists were building, may be related to similar stories of other cultures and other historical times.
Yep.
Researchers suggest that at least some of the tales of the horned hares were inspired by sightings of rabbits infected with the Shopi papillomavirus.
Hello.
Causes like a horn and antler-like tumors to grow in various places on the rabbit's head and body.
It's
I
actually-
didn't know. That's gross.
It's a good thing that lady wasn't giving birth to jackalopes.
Oh my gosh, she would have contracted this.
She'd have had blue waffle after that.
But yeah, it became pretty popular, and even to this day, you see things with the jackalope.
Sure.
It's a funny thing, but some people are like, I think it might be real.
I'm not gonna lie. When I was a kid,
I did.
we had that
I did
on
too.
the wall in the lodge. I'm like, is that real? Where do you hunt that?
I know.
And my grandpa was like, yeah,
It's extinct.
I shot that back in
Yeah, I'm
1963.
I'm sure he did.
There was some awesome water, and I killed a jackalope. So I was like always so confused. I'm like, is that real? Is it not real?
It does. It is kind of,
You know?
like, some of them look pretty real.
So there's another one that's kind of similar to the jackalope. It's called the excavator.
I had not heard of this.
I've never heard of this. It's a Swedish fictional creature that was constructed in 1918 by the taxidermist Rudolf Granberg and is permanently displayed at the museum at Norra Berget in Sundsvall. Or whatever. Yeah, it has 4 quarters and hind legs of a European hare, so a rabbit, and the back, wings, and tail of a female wood grouse. It was later jokingly given the Latin name Tetraeolupus pseudohybridius rarissimus.
That sounds real.
Yeah. Anyways, it was just like a tall tale that this guy talked about one day. He killed it, and then somebody else heard
From
about
there,
it.
huh?
And then some guy
From pub to public.
And then somebody said, hey, we should make one. There's a taxidermist, and he made it, and then it
That's
just sort of
creepy.
became a thing.
Is that the picture of it?
Excavator, yeah. The excavator also became a nickname in the 1950s and 1960s for a combination bus and truck.
Oh, it did.
Or bruck, which is commonly used on small bus routes in Norland. The front end was a bus taking passengers, and the back end was an open loading bay, often used for delivering milk. So they called that the excavator too,
cool.
because it was like a hybrid animal.
That's cool.
Kind of funny.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I like the truck.
I do
I
too.
want an excavator.
I want excavator too.
So this, we'll do it real quick. Toothing. I'd never heard of this. Had you heard of this?
Toothing? No, I don't know what that is.
So toothing is basically a Bluetooth-enabled mobile device that arranges sexual encounters.
Oh.
So it didn't really exist, though.
Oh, okay.
So 2 guys had decided, they're like, there's all these dumb little names, buzzwords, for dogging and what was it? Dogging scandal, and then there was blue jacking. What is blue jacking?
I don't know.
Mm-hmm. So these are all popping up, and they're like, let's make our own. And they decided, they're like, let's talk about like using a Bluetooth device. You could turn on this app, and it would basically let you know that someone else had turned it on and is just looking for sex.
They're ready for something.
They're ready to get things done.
Yeah.
And so it became like pretty popular, and people believed that it was a real app. Mm-hmm. And they kind of like started to look into it to see if they could, actually use something like this. I could see this totally being a thing.
Well, it's not that much different than like
it's not Tinder.
The Tinder, right? Like
it's exactly the same thing, basically. Yeah. BBC wrote in their article, which actually promoted it further. One practitioner is John, a toother, living in near London. One morning, I received an anonymous text via Bluetooth, he told BBC News. I didn't understand what had happened, but that evening, I did some research and worked out how to send my own. The pair started to exchange messages on a train station platform, messages which got gradually more flirty.
Of course.
Eventually, she asked me if I fancied a quickie in the toilets at the station we were traveling to. It happened, but I never saw her again. So they had promoted this fake story.
Sure.
And so people believed toothing was a real thing.
Cool.
And it was not.
It definitely wasn't, was it? That's interesting. How about this one actually is pretty interesting. It's called the Turk. The Mechanical Turk, also known as the automaton chess player.
This one was pretty funny.
Or simply the Turk, was a fraudulent chess playing machine constructed in 1770, which appeared to be able to play a strong game of chess against a human opponent. For 84 years, it was exhibited on tours by various owners as an automaton, which is crazy back in 1770 that people believed this thing was real. The machine survived and continued giving occasional exhibitions until 1854, when a fire swept through the museum where it was kept, destroying the machine. Afterwards, articles were published by a son of the machine's owner revealing its secrets to the public, that it was an elaborate hoax, suspected by some but never proven in public while it still existed. The Turk was, in fact, a mechanical illusion that allowed a human chess master hiding inside to operate the machine. With the skilled operator, the Turk won most of the games it played, which is funny. It couldn't win all of them. It won most. Because it's just a person
just a dude
in there.
playing chess.
It's just a dude playing
and a
chess.
robot.
But everybody really thought it was a machine that was playing against him, right? Turk
C-3PO.
won most of the games it played during its demonstrations around Europe and the Americas for nearly 84 years. playing and defeating many challengers, including statesmen such as Napoleon Bonaparte and Benjamin Franklin.
Wow, it wasn't dumb then.
No.
As a person.
Yeah.
I was like, he was actually good. But
Yeah, because he beat both of them.
posed as a freaking automaton.
Kind of crazy.
That one
huh?
is crazy.
Yeah.
That's cool.
It is kind of cool.
All right, so this last one, save the best for later, right?
Of course.
No, I don't know.
Save
But
the
I
best
thought
one.
I had no idea that this happened.
Didn't even look into it, so I'm going to be interested to hear what you have to say here.
Of all the things through medieval Europe, relics associated with Jesus Christ, anything, the Holy Grail or the stake or anything that had anything to do with him was of super, important religious, reasons. Everybody wanted some of that. The foreskin is the only body part in the Bible specifically mentions being removed from Christ during his life.
Oh.
So it was actually still there.
Mm-hmm.
We had that. But the holy foreskin didn't appear only in art. It is an actual physical artifact, they say, or what people claimed was the real thing.
Wow.
So the holy foreskin first made an appearance in medieval Europe around 800 AD. So it was,
Oh my gosh.
yeah, when King Charlemagne presented it as a gift to Pope Leo III. Charlemagne said it had been given to him by an angel.
Oh, yeah.
The foreskin.
Foreskin angel.
However, rival foreskins soon began to pop up all over Europe. All told, 21 different churches claimed to have the holy foreskin, often at the same time.
Oh my God.
Various miraculous powers were attributed to these foreskins. They were supposed to be able to protect women during childbirth.
Of course, yeah.
Given the glut of holy foreskins, church made an effort to have their foreskins authenticated by church leaders as the sole genuine article. In the early 12th century, the monks of San Giovanni in Laterano, Rome, asked Pope Innocent III, I didn't know that was a name,
It is.
to rule on the authenticity of the foreskins, but he declined to do so. I ain't touching no foreskin.
Nah.
I ain't touching no foreskin.
It's hard to authenticate the foreskin.
Later, the monks of Charot claimed their foreskin to be the only real one, pointing out that it apparently yielded drops of blood. It's
What?
real. It's got blood in it.
You got the blood of
This
Christ.
convinced Pope Clement the Seventh, who declared theirs to be the authentic thing.
Wow.
Some medieval theologians argued that all the holy foreskins necessarily had to be frauds, since the actual holy foreskin had, they asserted, ascended into heaven with Christ.
Oh, it went up
Yep.
when he went up.
So he was going on, and foreskin followed behind.
Yeah, it's like,
Excuse me, everyone.
well, this is going to be awkward, but it's coming back.
Oh, I didn't know anything about this.
I had never thought about the holy foreskin in my
I don't
entire
think,
life.
of all the parts, Christ left them behind. Unfortunately, this is the only one.
This is it.
The 17th century theologian Leo Alateus speculated in his essay, I'm going to read that one, Jesus Christi, that the holy foreskin had ascended into heaven at the same time as Jesus and had become the rings of Saturn.
that makes total sense.
So the foreskin has just become the rings
Yeah.
of Saturn. The Catholic Church eventually
Man.
sought to extract itself from the holy foreskin controversy, deciding that it was rather unseemly for such attention to be paid to Christ's private parts.
It makes sense.
It
yeah.
adopted that the view of all the rival foreskins were frauds, and in 1900 made it a crime punishable by excommunication to write or speak about the holy foreskin.
Can't even write or speak about it?
Nope, none
Wow.
shall speak of the holy foreskin.
Yeah, the rings of Saturn.
I didn't. That one blew my mind. I had no idea.
Wow.
So apparently,
That was fraud.
The foreskin was
Yeah.
passed around, duplicated,
Mhm.
and became the rings of Saturn.
Wow.
I had not heard that. That one was a good one.
That is legendary to have your foreskin become rings on a planet.
He's like, oh my god,
He's up there rubbing his forehead like, these people.
they
I've
killed
given
me.
them everything.
They killed me, and now they're worshiping.
Now they're worshiping the rings of Saturn.
People are messed up, man.
Yeah, he's just shaking his head.
Yeah, he's like,
Seriously,
I'm done.
people.
I'm done.
This is why Armageddon's coming. You idiots.
oh man,
That's it. That's hoaxes.
not trying to be sacrilegious, but that was weird.
That was weird, man. Well, two
Hey,
legged
foreskin
beavers.
does it for you.
Yeah, two-legged beavers, moonicorns, furry
Flying
fish,
rabbits.
flying rabbits, lots of weird crap, right?
You can believe anything. Giant potato.
Yep. Giant potatoes, that's right.
Yeah,
So,
anyways.
you got anything else, Cam?
No, that's it.
All right, guys.
This is all true.
Everything. Stay survived.